to get some help here as they go down as well.
In the middle of the Badlands. It means it's going to be play, and 4 a.m. still going to have control back over towards the east. So with this, you can see Navi has a little bit of a run-and-gun fight ahead of them, gets shots back over towards this. Not enough to get the knock that you know that they were wanting to try to make a play from, so instead starting to have to brute force this one. You can see multiple people trying to make a push back along this. Abilities have been found inside of Gex's line. Zenith taking shots back over the angles. Too many vulnerabilities.
See Iro got the knock just underneath. Tab tries to make the push, gets sprayed down, but Navi wins that fight. But oh no, here comes Ira.
They won to destroy Navi. That was an unexpected angle. This is outside TSM on the other side. It's Zenith at range. Not a lot of options for Navi as they made the hard commit back over towards this Wookie Bookie, showing up yet again for TSM. The things that he can do from positioning. I mean, he's just going to be taking some blue damage, but look at that. Shimboy isn't even going to let that one go through. Connects back over towards it, and with this, Navi gets a eliminated Nate.
Zenith doing a good job of third partying on top of that, but God, isn't that just the luck for Navi right there? They finally get them while they were weak. It's Tiggleton. Oh, knows he got him low. He's going to push up over the top.
Another one.
Yes.
Yeah, this is just a concerted effort to try to stay alive, but with this opportunity that Tig's providing, H1 might be able to leave Pachinki, maybe creep up back behind Zenith, who's playing right along the edge of the zone. Should be noted, TSG is also listening to what's going on, hasn't made a play back over here just quite yet, with the fact that we're looking at the Badlands, everybody 4 a.m.'s direction, so while they've been holding down
Well, let's see if Zenith can maybe collect a few more. There you go, Shimboy going to take care of the Tickleton problem. A win. H win. Acting like he did.
SM having to contend with Tiggleton. The church, you can see he's trying to set up. They hear the fire playing away from this, starting to make their way high ground advantage back over towards TSM, trying to regroup.
Let's go, Zenith. This is what we've been wanting to see out of them. I think first time for these guys traveling. Really, really proud of him, right? He's in perfect position. Shinboy once again.
TSG from positioning. 4 a.m. also starting to take a couple of shots. TSG down to 2 members, realizing the fact that the opportunity might have slipped while 4 a.m. is caught up looking back over towards TSG's positioning. Using this opportunity, do note the last surviving member for K7 has managed to sneak inside the same deadly opening to move over into 4 a.m. and a territory control angle as well, but they start fighting each other as they go. Footage spots out. Zenith is fighting their way inside the zone.
Roth with an AUG is a dangerous thing. He's showing why right now. Unfortunately for them, they are completely reliant on this smoke wall to try to find some way, any way to get into this circle. And they are just completely pinned down here by Crazy and Lou, and now DGW actually going to take some shots over in that direction as well. And
board coming up from Zenith, but their real eyes are all drawn back over towards 4 a.m. They've got so much control in what's going on. Detonation White back over towards the north is really just kind of clinging to the little bit of cover they have. They know that they're going to have to make a move. God V's already got to look back over their direction, waiting for them to make some type of play. Kick starts right up against the edge of the zone, seeing maybe he can get a knock, try to use that one. Good shot's going to come out from 4 a.m. to get the drop on a 1.
Element 36 took the last game. DGW now in a nice
goes to Sonics, but both TSG and 4AM very quick to push into Pachinki's, these guys, because we have a little bit of technical difficulty, but it's okay because we've been watching. We know what's going on. We don't need that highlights to really talk about what it is. TSG kind of also took their chance, right? 4AM said, nah, we're not really going to mess with this. Rotated out kind of to the north, wrapped all the way around to Sunken City, got into a couple of fights, and then kind of pulled their way back. They really played the circles well and awarded them a fantastic position, not only through the mid game into the late, but additionally, I want to give a shout out to Zenith, 10 kills as well. So really interesting to that. But Cam, I know you had some points for 4AM that you wanted to make as well from this match.
Yeah, so this was another part of Erangel. I mean, it's very common on Erangel to have an ending circle that is very wide out in the open. This is more out in the open than even the previous game, and so it was more fights sort of around the extremities once we hinted the late game. 4AM held on to a split, a very wide split, and the circle did shift in their direction. I believe it was circle 6 or circle 7. That was sort of the defining moment for where the game was going to fully end up. But if we're looking at previous performances by 4AM, I was really worried on this obsession over splits would work out for them, become a single player, a single pair if you are in a 2-2. There are a couple of teams that have said that they are just not going to be splitting at all because of the dangers involved, but 4AM stick with it. But that shift allowed them to take full control of the area, get those 16 kills. It's been so long since we've seen, at least in our experience, 16 kills. They are very, very rare to come by. Thinking back in the early parts of 2019, they were not especially common, but they weren't nearly as rare as they are now. And for 4AM to come out and just frag throughout that entire game.
I mean, that's the reality of 4 Angry Men, is that they are a storied team. They've been through a lot, but I started to worry that they might be the is meant to sort of stop the bleeding and be a tourniquet, Clover, and I was skeptical, but after seeing this game, Crazy got 4 kills. Godv looks like he's back in a leadership role and is feeling very comfortable. This is the 4 Angry Men that I feel like I remember seeing this kind of play from them years ago at the original World Championship.
This is, I mean, team play at its finest. You're looking at the top kills, first, second, and third place going to Lou Forever and Crazy of 4AM, and just shows the amount of work they put in. I know earlier, a couple matches, we were kind of pointing out some of the work that Godv was putting in terms of some kills and damage points, but like you said, taking a leadership role, taking a little bit of a step back, and getting them in good positions. I mean, these guys weren't standing still at all. They were, you know, not being reckless, but they were making sure that they were always in the best position. You know, as we take a look now at damage as well, another thing I want to point out is that Zenith has also been on these top lists. We're seeing Shinboy right there in 4th with 548 on damage, but all 4 members of 4AM up here, and it just shows.
I'm going to touch on this: 665 damage points, but only 1 kill. That is a player who's comfortable playing this sort of stuff.
I mean, I wonder how many assists that they had, because throughout they were just rolling as a pack, as you do in PUBG. It's Battle Royale. You generally want to stay as 4 when you're rotating around, get in a lot of shared fights. Of course, the damage is going to be shared, and then when you're in wide splits, the big value that comes from that into the late game is that you can hold multiple angles, and it makes the crossfire, it makes the team shooting that much easier to come by. So it doesn't surprise me too much to see high damage, lower kills comparatively. Forever, his damage was off the charts, and yet he still had 1.
You saw earlier the points and the kills were switched. They got 16 kills, Clover. This is the 32 best team.
I always get excited when we see those double-digit kills, but as you said, 16, that is quite a lot. And I think it also just kind of goes to show, and some of the teams that we maybe were not expecting to come out so aggressively, so with purpose, not only in domination for kills, but I think of their ability to take compounds flawlessly, keep players up the end. 4AM, I mean, it's beautiful display.
For them being number 1, Zenith has been very consistent, Cameron. We saw Shinboy and his teammate, it was Punj, I believe, both up there on the top of the list. Both of them weren't even old enough to play pro a year ago, coming out here and putting up some big numbers on day one.
Yeah, this is really good to see from this final game. We saw multiple solid positions by Zenith from the first couple of games. Really big question mark coming into this competition. I'm going to say it, they are the weakest team coming out of North America. They're together where it's not just Kickstart with Roth as a sidekick as the real firing power. If Punij and Shinbar are really able to slot in, then I think they could be a solid threat. Whether they're going to be as big as Sonics or Oath are, that might be a little bit too much to ask. But they haven't reached
to go today. A reminder for how the matches that we just saw went. Sonics with the first, TSG takes 2, E36 with the third game, and 4 a.m. take the 4th. Though there are 4 more games coming your way as Groups C and D prepare to face off in a very between the matches, so we can switch out players. Remember, safety is important here, so we're going to disinfect the stadium, get everybody ready for the next round. Before we do that, though, Clover, let's go over the overall standings. 4 Angry Men now in first place.
Coming out on, and additionally, TSM and Global rounding out the top 5. As Cam said earlier, the biggest thing that I've been surprised through all of this has been Burium, though. They're the only team that weren't able to break out of the single digits in terms of points with just 5.
Absolutely shocking. Cameron, take on the standings.
And jumps them up to first place. This is not the entire tournament. This is still just the opening, ranking decision before we head into what you can consider the main event. But you still only play 12 games, 4 against each other group. So do not disregard how impactful a single game could be. And anyone in the league, TSG, Sonics, T1, the TSM, and even Gex, it's not as solid a footing as you would otherwise might have expected.
All right, guys, it is basically time for us to take a break. I love thoughts for the future, whatever you're looking forward to or have enjoyed so far.
I mean, I've enjoyed so much of it. I think this is probably the most caffeinated I've ever been, working one of these events. So my heart's pumping through my ears. But, if you're some of those teams right now.
Cameron, closing thoughts?
4 games down. We got a lot more to go for this weekend, a lot more to go for this whole event, and these results have been... I'm looking over the leaderboards right now. These results, I don't think I would have picked a lot of this, so it's all still up in the air.
All right, guys, then that is it from us. There's a 1-hour break, and then we're going to be back. It'll be Kylaris, Froz, and Martin here giving you guys the breaks on the desk. I believe it will be the Sims and Toby with the cast as Group C and D meet for the first time. So be there, get there. You've got 1 hour. You know what you should do with that hour? Play more PUBG. We'll see you guys in a few.
Hello, PUBG esports fans. The pub's big, there's a lot to take in. So let's take a look at the format and rules of PGIS 2021. PGIS's main event, the weekly series, will be held. Unlike the previous global tournaments, points are not accumulated week over week, giving every team the same fighting chance each week. Weekly Survival features 16 matches. The next team on the waitlist takes your place and a new match begins. This list is determined by ranked decision matches to decide the order our 32 teams participate. Face off in the weekly survival matches first. The weekly finals are added up to decide their final ranking for the week. The 16 teams that played in the weekly final get the first shot at next week's weekly survival, and the remaining 16 teams decide their placement on the waitlist during a bottom 16 match held every Saturday, before the weekly final. From there, the cycle continues throughout the tournament. One of the big differences with PGIS is that instead of receiving prize money based on your final rank is determined by how much prize money you've won. We're awarding prize money every week, and the team who has collected the most at the end will be crowned our PGIS champion. Here's how it breaks: cash prize, earning more the sooner they win. From there, the winners of the weekly finals tournament, giving teams lots of opportunity to catch up and claim the title. Winning isn't the only way teams are earning cash, though. 30% of the total profit made from PGIS item sales goes back to participating teams. This money will be distributed based on the percentage of money each team won in the tournament, with bigger rewards for the higher performing teams. That about wraps up our overview of the PUBG Global Invitational S. Initial ranking decisions happen on February 5th, and the first official matches kick off on February... Hello, PUBG esports fans. The PUBG Global Invitational S starts on February 8th, and as is custom, we're launching a brand new Pick'em Challenge to go along with it. Each Pick'em Challenge is a little different, so make sure to watch all the way through to find out what's new and what's changed this time around. It all begins on January 20th and 21st when the esports tab officially reopens inside the PUBG PC and console clients. All throughout PGIS, you can use this tab to keep up to date on participating teams and players, along with real-time tournament info. This is also the first chance you'll get to purchase the first set of killer PGIS gear and begin supporting your favorite teams. Since this is quite a long tournament, a second set of gear will become available at the end of February. The first challenge, rewards from the previous week will be distributed before the to work within the PGIS tournament format, so pay attention. That will advance to the weekly final each week. If one of your selected teams makes it to the top 4, you'll get a prize according to the rank they end up in. Simple as that. It's every other week. On weeks 1, 3, and 5, you'll have to correctly guess which team will score the highest kill points during the weekly final. 4 and 6, you'll have to guess who will take home a chicken dinner during the 10 weekly final matches, with each correct answer earning you 25,000 EP. You can only win once per team, but the good news is you don't even have to pick which game they'll win, making this challenge even easier. This challenge also requires voting coupons, so make sure you plan out where you want to spend yours before making a selection. Voting coupons can be obtained by purchasing cool PGIS gear and show your team spirit. The final challenge requires you to pick the winner of the 32-team event match that takes place from March. Looking for ways to grab a couple free voting coupons and some EP? The first one's easy. Simply log into the esports tab and you'll pick up a free voting coupon once per week. Coupon will pop up during weekly survival broadcasts, and codes for EP will pop up during weekly final, rank decision, and survival tournament broadcasts. Fans who are quick enough to compete during the entire PGIS event. These codes are first come, first served, so be quick or try your luck again the next time a code appears. Once you've racked up a nice pool of EP, make a trip to the esports store and choose from all the sweet new PGIS gear available. You'll have until April 14th to spend your EP, so stop. Log into the esports tab, research your teams, plan your strategy, and get picking. PGIS is our biggest tournament yet, and we want you to win big alongside your favorite PUBG teams. PUBG, PGIS, and the Pick'em Challenge. Your time to win starts now.